So welcome to Team Time. This is the post-Thanksgiving version of Team Time. We got rolling down to the end of November here. So tonight we're going to share some tips to finish the month strong and hopefully have a little bit of time for some question and answer. If anyone's got any burning questions or any tips to share, that's what's worked for you. Feel free to share those. So I'm going to pull my slideshow up and get started on that. Can y'all see the slideshow?
Yes.
Good. All right, top 10 tips to finish your month strong. So some of you might already know, but I just want to do a quick review on some of these things that help the newer coaches especially, or just a good refresher for a lot of you. So just love this quote: no amount of planning matters unless you do. So please, take what we talk about tonight and make a plan. It doesn't have to be exact what we talk about, but make some kind of plan to get into action because that's what truly matters. First things first, remember your why. Helping other people achieve optimal health is number one always. So I think it's easy to get caught up in this, and is great. I think every time we have a small group and every time we have church, I'm constantly reminded of why we do what we do, which is to help serve other people and help make sure that our friends and family have an opportunity to also be able to have optimal health. And we hold the keys to that for so many people. And so remembering that as we go into the holidays and knowing that we have this amazing gift to offer people is what really matters. I did a little training earlier in the week about how we make money with Optavia. But obviously all that goes back to the fact that, every life that you change, makes you money with Optavia, but we don't do it for that goal. We do it to help change the life. And that's what ends up, you get paid by Optavia to help people change their life. And as you do that and you love on people, then that's what ends up becoming a source of income for you as well. So it's kind of a win-win situation with Optavia, which is great. So think about, how does the extra income impact your life? I mean, it's always good. This is where we're talking about being intentional. And so, it's great to just want to make more money. But when you start thinking about what you would actually do with that money, it kind of drives your why for coaching. And so I think it's awesome. I could get on a Coach Explorer and tell somebody, I can help you make $500 a month. And they would probably be excited about $500 a month. $500 a month is a good amount of extra money. But if they don't have a purpose for that $500, it doesn't hold as much value. If $500 means they can send their kids to private school or fund a vacation that they've been wanting to go on for a long time, then that gives more purpose to what they're doing in addition to helping change lives. So number one, make a candidate list. I know this is kind of a repetitive theme, and it's all about living with intention. And this is what helps you live intentionally. And some of the ways we've changed what we do with our candidate lists, and we definitely, want to remember that being authentic and genuine is the start of every conversation. And so when we say make a candidate list, I always tell people, this is your prayer list. These are people that you're praying over, that they'll open their mind to what we offer, open their heart, and hopefully, give you a chance to talk to them and share with them what we do. This is not a slap you in the face with Optavia, opportunity. This is something that you are constantly working on. These are people that you're constantly, building relationships with. So hopefully that helps. This is not a candidate list that you're going to go like a checkoff list and be like, okay, I wrote that person today. Okay, I wrote that person today. This is something that you are, constantly thinking about in the back of your mind, who you can help with this program and people that are on your heart to help. So obviously friend them on Facebook if you aren't already friends. I don't think I ever stopped friending people on Facebook, and I'm probably going to get capped soon because I'm getting close to 5,000 friends, which is insane. But we met 2 new people at church today that live in Choctawinity, which is right down the road from us. and had a little conversation with them before service started at church. And of course, I added both of them as friends on Facebook. And so the power in that is, just thinking about what we're trying to do here, and what we're truly trying to do is help people change their life. And I don't know all about them. I don't know all their backstory. We had a 10-minute conversation, if that, before church, but they seemed like really nice, genuine people. And there is some part of our trilogy that they can benefit from, no doubt, no matter what their situation is. And so it's not a matter of me thinking this is going to be a new client for me. And there's nothing wrong with getting excited about that. But there is something to say to the heart that's behind what you do, and friending that person because you know that you have this amazing gift that you can give them when they're ready. And that's the key to it right there, is just constantly building relationships. And they will ask you when they're ready. I promise. It's happened so many times in the last 2 years that people that I've just intentionally built relationships with, or, friends that I'd fallen out of touch with that I got back in touch with. Good gracious, my stepbrother, or ex-stepbrother that I haven't spoken to in person in probably 10 years, if not more. He started program, he ordered his kit last week, and he's going to start program tomorrow or Tuesday. I guess it depends on when the box comes. But how cool is that? I mean, I've never written him and said, you need to do this program, or I think health coaching could help your family with some financial stuff or whatever. It happened organically. And I've been coaching for over 2 years. And so there's lots of opportunity there for me to pursue him as a client. But and I'm sorry to spend a lot of time on this, but this is a really important concept. We don't pursue people as clients. We pursue them as friends, and we pursue them as a relationship. Then we pursue them because they are worth it. They're people, and we know we can help them. So I hope y'all get that too. So step 2, contact 10 people on your heart. This kind of rolls back into what we were just talking about. If you have some people that are on your scared list that that you can really help you. These are people that you know them better already. So their life situation, their health struggle, what's going on in their life, and that you have an answer for it. It just means being a little bit more intentional with, having that relationship with them. Now's the perfect time. Following a holiday, it's so easy to say, hey, I hope you had an amazing Thanksgiving. What did you do for Thanksgiving? Where did you go? Those types of things. Were you able to spend time with family? Did you have to work? All those things help build that relationship in a very genuine way, because there's nothing wrong with you writing someone and asking them what they did for Thanksgiving, or how, what did they work, or, where'd they go? That's a completely normal conversation. And when people talk to me about how do I have a conversation with someone, just like you would if you saw them. And I default to Rachel K's because I go to, that's my office sometimes during the week, is Rachel K's. But if someone walked up to me in Rachel K's and started talking to me, that's the same way you talk to someone through Facebook Messenger or text or whatever it is. You're having a genuine conversation with that person. And then it takes a lot of that fear out of it, because you're not going into the conversation to get them as a client. You're going into the conversation to hopefully awaken them eventually to what you do and what's possible with their health. Number 3, post on social media. I think it's pretty clear that this is something that can really help boost your business and help you grow a business pretty quickly. So this is something that I want to spend a little bit of time on, because we're kind of changing how we do this. Not the company necessarily, but some of the leaders in the company. And like I said, I'm doing some training with this right now with a social media specialist, and trying to figure out, what's the best way to accomplish this. The before and after every day for the next 5 days that I'm challenging you to here, put that in your story. Don't put it on your timeline, or consider not putting it on your timeline unless it's Tuesday And that, the information I'm getting now is that Tuesdays are the day that most people are looking for that. Everybody says Transformation Tuesday and that type of thing. So it's a more natural day to post a before and after picture. If you haven't posted your before and after picture in a while, maybe Tuesday is the day to do that. Post that on your timeline. But I encourage you every day this week, post the before and after in your story, but only post one a day. Don't post multiples a day. And try to remember what it feels like to be on the other end, And what we're trying to accomplish now is to move away from what feels salesy. You don't want anything to feel that way because y'all aren't that way. I know most of you, I know all of you like live on the call right now, and y'all aren't that person. But, even as you're trying to learn how to grow and learn skills to make you successful in this company or as successful as you'd like to be, you have to consider things like this. And how would you feel if someone was doing what you're doing? Would it turn you off or would it get you interested? Because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to inspire people to say yes. And all these other things are definitely what you can do. And I don't think there's anything wrong with creating urgency. You can do pretty much the way they go about it. You can pretty much do anything you want in your stories. But as far as like posting, that one before and after of yourself, by all means, create some urgency. Say you're looking for 5 more people this month to bless with this amazing gift or whatever. And don't forget to think the likes, which are more now, think the reactions, because it's not just likes, it's hearts and smiles and all that good stuff. So when someone reacts to it, don't forget to go back in the messenger and say, hey, thank you for supporting me on my journey. It means a lot. If they are interested in what you're doing, that's going to start a conversation with them. If they are not interested in what you're doing, they're going to say, oh, you've done great. I'm so proud of you, and then you say, thank you, whatever. And you move on. That is your foot in the door. That is not an invitation for you to like verbally vomit on them about program. If that makes sense. Number 4, ask for referrals. And I got in, parentheses comfort zone here because this is a little bit of stepping out of your comfort zone. And I'm not going to read the things below here. Those are, you could screenshot them or whatever. I think the number one barrier that I've seen, and I'd love to, know what you or hear what you think after this about referrals and see how we can maybe do this better as a group. But I think the number one snag people get with asking for referrals is they're scared to feel salesy, or they're scared to do something that ultimately you feel like it's beneficial for you. So I wanted to make a quick point here. Referrals are not about you. Referrals are about your clients and helping build community around your clients. And so when you have a client that's doing really well on program, asking them to share their story and tag you in it is giving you an opportunity to touch the friends and family that they have that might not even know about the program yet. The same, we'll ask them to share our story sometimes too. But same thing, hopefully they'll pay, or like you can give them an example of what to say and say, this is my coach, look at her, see what she's accomplished. She's helping me do the same. If you're interested, let me know. Things like that. If they have a cousin or a brother or sister or whatever that comes on program, they're so much more likely to stay on program themselves. And so that's why I say creating referrals, yes, it's going to grow your business, but we do it to help the client build some community around them. We know our Facebook community page is awesome, and they are certainly able to dial into that support line. But, having a real person that they are close to that is doing the program adds a whole nother level of support for them, and being able to share go through this together. That's a really powerful thing. So don't diminish referrals. You can certainly kind of come up with your own way of saying it, or if you want to brainstorm on that together, just let me know. We can talk and try to figure that out. Oops, went backwards. 5, contact inactive clients. So if you have some clients that have gone off program, or they never finished their journey, this is a perfect time of year to reach out to them. You can do it super professionally, like if you go into Optavia Share and then send them emails, or you can send them a Facebook Messenger, text message, whatever. Just reach back out and say, a lot of people are going to be doing something as we move into 2019, and I just wanted to check and see how you were doing, or what are you up to now, or what. It's just touching those people, and whatever you say to them depends on the relationship you already have. If it was somebody that was a stranger and they did program, did 5-in-1 for a month or 2 months and then fell off, then that conversation is going to look different than your cousin that did 5-in-1 for 3 months and just kind of slowly faded out, So it depends on who they are and what your relationship is with that person, what you're going to say to them. But this is a great time to reach back out, because a lot of times people want to do the program again, but they feel like a failure because they didn't finish it the first time. And sometimes that little reach out, reaching back to them is the little encouragement they need to know it's okay for them to come back in. So this can be a really great thing that you can finally help someone finish, the work they had started. And that's a really rewarding thing too, to see that story unfold. And let's be honest, there's a lot of these people. I mean, at least there are in my business, because when you sign a client up and they treat this as just a diet, which is something where they're buying the food and they're not really engaged in the community, they're not really engaged in the House of Health calls on Wednesdays, they don't really reach back out to you when you send them the messages and stuff like that, they're treating it as a diet, and they're still in that diet mentality. And so reaching back out to them and getting them back started on it again, it's a perfect opportunity to say, hey, I can really help you, achieve what you want to achieve this time if you will let me help you 100% and really be willing to do the things that I ask you to do. And if you can get them integrated this time into those other pieces, their success rate goes way up, and they're happier clients, and they naturally refer people even if you don't even ask them to. So that's our ultimate goal. Number 6, let me see how I'm doing on time. Oh gosh, I'm gonna run over. I'm gonna go fast. Reach out to every person you shared with. So you can see this, including just inquiries. So people in the last 2-3 months or whatever that have reached out, just inquiring about what we do, reach back out to them. You can see an example of that here. If you want to screenshot that, I'm gonna move on because we're running out of time. Offer incentives to fence sitters. So one thing about this is we just did the Black Friday thing. So I know a lot of you did that with us, and that's awesome. From a business standpoint, I wouldn't do another incentive, at least not like a big public, like everyone can see it incentive at this point, because you don't want to look like you're going to give out incentives every week, because then there is no urgency for them to get started. You know what I mean? And I say the key here is to have to know the fence sitters. So these are people that really wanted to do program, but life happened, or they seem like they were really eager, but then you haven't heard back from them. Reach out in a private message or a text and say, I know you really wanted to get started when I talked to you. Now's a great time to do that, and I'll offer you this amount or X amount of scholarship or whatever. Create a 1 to 2 minute live video. Lives are really cool, and lives get a lot of views, and in the Facebook algorithm stuff, your live videos still get bumped ahead of everything. So that's why you hear us talk about live videos a lot. I am not a big live video person, believe it or not. I tend to overthink live videos. And so I have this personal struggle with trying to do live videos, but not trying to be too goofy, because I'm naturally kind of a goofy guy. Most of you know that. Probably all of you know it that's on the call right now. That's kind of my nature. So I struggle with that identity piece of what I do, and trying to be a professional person and trying to inspire people to do what we do, but not be so goofy that people just laugh and move on, that they take it seriously what we offer. So the point is don't obsess over a live video. do what comes natural to you. And I'll be a better role model of that moving forward. I promise. But same thing, don't forget to like the likes and, keep it short. They say now, these 5-10 minute videos, if somebody wasn't live and following along with you, nobody's going to click on that. They want something that's quick. Celebrate your client's success. If you follow me on Facebook and you see my post, you saw I just did this with a couple of clients. They're actually coaches too, but they've been doing so well and stayed on track in the holidays and stuff like that. I went ahead and decided to put their before and after pictures up and celebrate them publicly. They've both already posted publicly, so it's not a situation where they'd only like shared with the group or whatever. So, we're here. We're in the relationship business and we're in the celebration business. So don't be scared to celebrate your client's success. Even if they want to be anonymous, this is a great thing. I mean, you don't have to tag them, but if they want to be anonymous, still, celebrate them on Facebook, because people can connect with what they're going through and like help celebrate that person or whatever. But it's definitely better if they're open to you tagging them. And, sometimes, we try to get people to share their before and after pictures on their Facebook, but they don't want to look like they are so into their self, like celebrating themselves for what they've accomplished. And I get that. It's cool. I don't think that's anything we should push them past. Sometimes that's just something that they have to, it's a mental thing for them. But also if they are a client and they don't necessarily want to share their own picture, but they're okay with you sharing it and tagging them in it because you're celebrating them. And when you ask them about that, be joyful and saying, you're like, oh my goodness, you've done so amazing. Is it okay if I share your before and after picture and celebrate you on my timeline? And a lot of times they're going to say, yeah, that's fine, but just remember, if someone's reserved about that, give them grace and respect them and don't try to push them past it. It's okay. They might want to share it later. We had a client that shared, I think, 3 before and after pictures in our client success group before she shared publicly. And we didn't even know she was going to share publicly. But every time she shared in the client success group, I would kind of drop a hint about sharing publicly. I think the last time I just said, oh my goodness, when you're ready to share this publicly, you're going to help change a lot of people's lives because you've done so amazing. And then she just randomly decided to share herself one day, which was awesome. So don't ever forget the power of that. And last, get in action now. There's a lot of coaches that start this business and they're scared or discouraged or disappointed or unsure. The key is to have a plan and just to then like put the plan into action. And there's going to be days where you're scared, possibly, just like doing a live video. Talk about how scared you are. There's going to be days where you're discouraged, where you had that client that you knew really needed this, and you've been trying to connect with them for months, and they finally signed up, and then they did program for a week and a half and quit. That's discouraging. I mean, it's human to be discouraged by that. But kind of pushing through that discouragement and knowing that there's another person that needs you right now is what I've always done. And disappointed, unsure, all that kind of falls into the same stuff. It's working through that pain, if you will, of all these things, because they're going to happen, and it depends on how you deal with them. And last, also, what matters? Multiple streams, and what I mean by that is, do all the things. Don't pick and choose one thing. Don't definitely get overwhelmed by it, but pick, a few of the things to do. Nobody said you have to sit down and do all 10 of these, but just doing a live video, that has power. But if you do a live video and you reach out to inactive clients and you offer incentive for fence sitters, the combination of those things is what really creates a big momentum push. So that's all for the slideshow. You stop share. Y'all are hanging in there with me. I went over by 1 minute. Holler. does anyone have any questions or anything they'd like to share before we wrap up tonight?
I wanted to ask about the My Story.
Yeah.
If you're sharing like a before and after, how much can you write in there? Because it doesn't give you much to write. So how do you share the story that they wrote?
Yeah. So the girl that we're doing the social media stuff with, she said for your stories, try to keep your text pretty short, because you can have a longer text on stories, but people have to like touch and scroll to see it. And most people in that arena, they're treating it like, let me do a gallery view so I can see y'all. They're treating stories like television. Like they don't want to interact with it. They just want to watch it. They just want to like be like entertained by it or whatever. So trying to keep the text pretty short and sweet on your stories part is the goal for your stories. Now, if you're doing a post and then you're sharing it to like on your timeline and you're sharing it to stories, it's going to be longer. I wouldn't necessarily worry about that, as far as like trying to shorten it, because what she's telling us is trying to move into the direction of like no emojis, or like keep the emojis down because that looks salesy, and just really sharing your heart. So if that ends up being 3 paragraphs, that's what it is, because what people are looking for, if they are looking for that, they're going to read it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So for me, I don't share my long, like I had a long post this morning. I don't share that on my story. I might share the picture that I shared in the post and then just put a little quick, blurb up there that's similar, just to keep that story moving. And you can share on your stories all day. So this is my plan, and we have lots more training on this, but come in, because this was only one of 5 sessions that we've done. But my plan is to have a couple or maybe 3 posts a day that are very like strategically planned posts, like something that I really want to share. And she said, and this is a little tip too, like if you have 6 people comment on it, don't respond to all of them right now. Respond to a couple of them and then wait 2 or 3 hours and then come back and respond to a couple more. Because what that ends up doing with that one post is every time you go back in there and comment again, it bumps it back up like an importance. So if you respond to all 6 people and you're done, then it cycles every 90 minutes. And once that 90-minute cycle is over, you've responded to everyone, it's out. You know what I mean? But if you go back in and respond to a couple of people that had commented earlier, it bumps it back up into that algorithm. So she called it nurturing your posts. So she's like, it's better to have a really good post that's interactive or whatever that you nurture all day in that way, or, just a few times a day or whatever, than it is to have multiple posts that you get a couple of comments on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So my plan is to have those 2 or 3 strategic posts a day. And then like the little things that I'm doing that I used to like, I go to Rachel K's with Brantley or whatever, that goes in my story. Like I'm living my life on stories where people can watch it for, a couple of seconds and get the next piece. And then keeping why are you hitting me? More strategic stuff on there. So that's a great question. You say hey? I haven't utilized stories a lot before now, but it's a really cool tool. I actually have had probably 5 conversations off of stories in the last 3 days that maybe I wouldn't have had. But it's such a gateway, because if you post something on stories and someone responds to that, it goes straight into Messenger. And so then you can start a conversation with them in Messenger very naturally because of that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Awesome. Anybody else got a question about anything? Excited about Christmas? Yeah? Let me stop recording real fast.